welcome to DRL in the iRacing division. We are live for race number 6 in season number 3, and we are at the Nürburgring and not the Nordschleife, because I can only imagine how long and how crazy that would be. So, currently just getting through the rest of this practice session with 6 seconds left to go before qualifying begins. We have 18 drivers for your viewing pleasure this evening. Any one of these drivers could win, but obviously the drivers in the top 5, maybe 6 where some of the drivers were, will have better opportunities. Mr. Daniel Roth will be the first one out in qualifying, so we will stick on board with him. Qualifying is 15 minutes or 4 solo laps, whatever comes first. Usually all 15 minutes have to go down in order for everything else to occur. I have already cursed 3 drivers this session. Stanford, which is Russ Money McMillian in the number 20 Ford. I do believe I cursed Ryan Barkins, that is the number 72. He is currently in the BMW. And then I cursed Sam Bozak in the number 5 Lamborghini, so... Actually, no, it's a Porsche, so... Don't butcher me, folks. It's mostly Fords here. You got mostly Fords, some 4 BMWs, got 2 McLarens, 2 Mercedes, 2 Porsches. Michael's actually now gotten ahead, so he's now going to be the first driver on the timing line. So we'll stick on board with him. See if we can get anybody else watching in the chat. That chicane's going to catch out a lot of drivers, something tells me. And instead of turning left to go onto the Nordschleife, they're going to turn right, take this lovely hairpin, and file straight down to the line. As Michael is going to start the first of 4 flying laps. See how he handles turn 1. Takes that little dip. The Mercedes Arena. I have one here at the Nürburgring before, but in ACC, so... It actually clinched me my ACC AM championship. Reliving the good old glory days. Angelo and Pierce, number 2 and number 33, still haven't come out onto the track yet. So we will still be waiting for them just for a little bit. You can take this flat out. It might be a bit risque, but you can definitely take it flat out. Approaches a heavy braking zone here. Actually, let's look at this from the cockpit. Might be better that way. Second gear. He's going to get about as far inside as he can to 5th gear. Brake it around the 100, 75. Hit that curb. Hit that curb. Use all the curb you can on exit. And let's see, what first lap time are we going to get on the board? Him and the number 99 are going to bring out the first lap times. Tristan's going to take the lead, however. And the number 99 student driver. Next across the line is going to be Bozak. (2014). Next across the line is going to be Gav. Mr. Gav Cook. Next across the line after him is going to be Barkins. No valid times from Gav or Barkins. Do you know? That is a valid time that'll put him up into P3. Zabrog, what time can he do? Time that puts him at the top of the timing charts. Quite comfortably. Next across the line is Mr. Jansen. Gives a time that is good enough for P6. Code Mike Brown next across the line. Gives a time good enough to get marked, but he's in last place. Next across the line is going to be Mr. Jeremy Dunn. Not good enough. Actually, yes, it is. It's going to be good enough to get on the board. It will not be invalid. It'll be good enough for 11th. Next across the line is going to be Tristan again, looking to get pole position. He's going to get it if that lap time is valid. Yes, he will. Michael's going to get up to 5th now. Roth getting up to 8th. Jonathan Neal getting up to 4th. Juan Cruz getting up to 2nd now. Hubbard getting up to 10th. Tony getting up to 4th. Bozak good enough to get into the top 10. Barkins is going to snag provisional pole with a very good lap. Brog now going to get up into 2nd. Still a little bit ways behind pole position, only by a 10th or so. Angelo, Pierce, Gav, and Russ still have yet to set lap times. Still waiting to see what they can do. Tristan now going to find himself on provisional pole. Him, Barkins, Zabrog all kind of chasing each other. A 2-minute 2 for Angelo. That's going to be good enough if it is valid to put him. It is not a valid lap, however, it looks like. So, oh. Hubbard's going to find himself now 11th. Russ, can he cook up a lap that's good enough? A 1:58.6 going to be good enough to get him 5th. Gav. A 1:58.0 good enough to get him 5th. This is Barkin's final lap. Same with Tristan. Can Zabra get a little bit closer? Dino's going to find himself 6th. So Brog's best lap does not move him. Keeps him third. Not by much, though. Code Mike Brown, can he find himself a lap time to get himself out of last? Angelo still needs to find himself a lap time to just get a lap. Mike Brown crosses a line. It was not a valid lap. Let's see where Tristan finds himself. Can he give himself a little bit more breathing room? Yes, he can. He's going to improve his lap time. What does Ryan Barkins or Evans Zabrog, what will they have to say about that? What will Juan Cruz have to say? Michael Cote is going to find himself P7 after a good lap time. Jonathan Neal's going to find himself 8th. Juan Cruz not going to improve his lap time, unfortunately. Hubbard's going to find himself now 15th. Angelo did get himself a lap time good enough for 12th. Let's see, can Barkins get provisional pole? Doesn't look like it, not with that lap time. And Zabrog's going to give up. So Tristan Hurl, congratulations, sir. You are on pole position for this race, unless Angelo pulls the mightiest of mighty lap. Morgan's going to now find himself in the top 5, snagging it at the line. Can Salas move up into the top 10? Nope, not with that lap time. He is not. Mike Brown, can he maybe get something here? He will set a lap time, but it is not good enough to move anywhere. He will start P17. Next across the line is going to be Jeremy Dunn. He needs a better than a 2-minute 2 in order to get on to 15th. Doesn't look like he's going to find that. Angelo trying to get up to 1:58.7. That will be good enough to get himself He's going to get a 1:58.9. It's not going to move him anywhere. Juan Cruz goes into the pits. Tony's at the edge of the pits. Barkins can't do another lap. He's done. I think he might just be practicing pit entry. Tony's just sitting at pit entry, so it's all up to Moranti now to see if he can find an extra 0.2. 0.2 will find him just slipping inside the top 10. If he can find himself at a 1:58.5, that'll get himself good enough to 9th. Alright, let's see if Angelo can get a lap time that is good enough. Currently, he's projected a 1:58.4. That would be good enough to get himself inside the top 10 and get past Russ. Can he hold on to it, though? Looks like he's going to with a 1:58.3. 158.2. That's going to be good enough to get himself inside the top 10. Find himself P8, actually. Even better lap time from the number 2 Ford. Gets himself into 8th position. Now, with Tony unlikely to do any more laps, the grid on the left-hand side of your screen is as follows. Tristan Hurl will get pole position. Barkins will be beside him in P2. Zabrog will be P3. Juan Cruz P4. Dino in P5. Cook in P6. Cotero in 7th in car number 7. Ding ding. Angelo will find him. Moriarty will find himself P8. Neil will find himself P9. Russ McMillian will find himself P10. Tony will find himself P11. McAinley. Jansen will find himself P12. Roth will find himself P13. Bozak will find himself 14th. Hubbard will find himself 15th. Mr. Dunn will find himself 16th. Code Mike Brown will find himself 17th. And in P19 or 18, for some strange reason, is Hanley. Chopper zooms in so much. Is there a way to make it not zoom in as much? Like, and the blimp in these conditions sucks monkey. Oh my. Oh. I'm gonna hide that UI, folks. Surprise UI. There really isn't a good real camera for this. TV3 maybe? TV3 is just bigger. Alright, it's a short form lap. It's not going to be a long form. We're just waiting on Hanley to decide if he is going to pit start or start on the grid. It looks like he's going to pit start or just not even start in general. Warming up the tires. A student driver finding himself on pole position with the cursed Barkins behind. Now, I'll remind everyone the cursed drivers are Barkins, Russ, and Bozak. So, Barkins finding himself in an interesting position. As soon as the safety car goes into the pits, Tristan can release and be the pace car whenever he wants to go, and he is going to go quickly, so that might catch a few drivers off guard. The top 8, not so much. Everyone else, so
green.
It does. Green lights are off, and off we go. Barkins and Sprague immediately are going to fight. Dino's going to take a look at this and maybe fancy a move. Not going to be able to find it. Watch the contact, boys and girls. Juan Cruz going to go round the outside. Already some fights going on in the background. Everyone seems to be fine, and that is Russ immediately, the curse working in his favor, causing 2 drivers to almost slam on the brakes to avoid collisions. Michael's going to find himself spinning out and into the grass. We'll take a look at that after we finally get going. Tristan's currently off and running. Barkins and Zaborg in the top 3. Dino and Juan Cruz round out the top 5. Chasing and chasing is the name of the game here, lap 1. Survival is honestly the name of the game in lap 1. Not going to be able to find it, it seems, though. For some drivers, Russ and Michael definitely finding that out. So Brog wanted to go side by side with Barkins. Not going to be able to find it. They're going to be like 2 peas in a pod. So close together there, those 3 drivers. Not really a lot of space for any sort of movement whatsoever back there. You got Morandi chasing Cruz. Everyone else behind Civil right now. Got these drivers all the way in the back. Michael going to have to do some chasing. Thankfully, he's not out of this race. He's just a little bit ways behind. So Brog really wants to pass Barkins for P2. He's holding on to it, though. Everyone's seeming to survive the chicane. Gav Cook weaving around, looking for some room. Maybe going to be able to find it here at the end of this straight. So Brog, is he going to go for the inside dive? Nope, he's just going to follow along like everybody else. Everyone else is just going to follow along. No one's going to make any irrational decisions. That's unfortunate for the content. Juan Cruz does get a little bit of an off-track warning there in an attempt to maybe try and find some ground on Dino. So Brog will get an off-track warning in his effort. Oh, maybe Juan Cruz thinks about the outside here. Dino defends the inside very well, might I add. Oh, inside becoming the out. Dino's gonna know he's there. Around the outside they go. Oh, Angelo finding himself fancying a move to get up into the top 5. He's there. But down the inside they go. Gav Cook now also fancies his opportunity at a move. Almost like going for the position ahead of you results in a defensive move behind that you now have to make. Daniel Roth looking try to get past Mr. Bozak. He's going to have to wait and see how that return's going to go first. Done glitching out of my screen every now and then. We'll keep an eye on that for later. This is a nice little battle for P4. Yeah, Barkins and Zabrog still keeping up with P1. Dino falling behind that battle, as you can see. No moves being done into turn 1 just yet. Nothing crazy being done. A lot of just follow the leader right now. No one wants to do anything too crazy. Maybe Barkins wants a move, but isn't going to find it just yet. Tony kind of starting to fall into no man's land here. Oh, yeah, I've had a little bit of an inside look there. Wasn't able to get very much of it. Roth still behind Bozak. Barkins did have it off track. Might have had a slowdown. Zabrog going to go around the outside, though, with a brilliant move. I don't know if he... Oh, and he was able to make it stick, too. I thought maybe Barkins would have a little bit of an inside take, but maybe he got a slowdown after that off track, so... Good work by Zabrog to get himself in now into P2. Now it becomes a battle for P3 as 5 drivers are now fighting it out. Gav Cook right on the back of Angelo here. Trying to get this McLaren to do something. Is he going to fancy a move or is he going to stay in line like the rest of them? Yep. Nothing too crazy here just yet. These are the closest battles that we have up in front of us right now. You got a little bit of a fight in the back. You have Bozak creating a little bit of his own DRS train with Roth, Dunn, and Russ. I don't know if you would count Barkins losing P2 as a full curse yet. I personally wouldn't, considering there's still a lot of time left to go. And if you're wondering, for the viewers that don't really get to see me that often, especially if you're from like the Pons Puck Discord where I do play-by-play commentary, I have a very fascinating ability to curse people. And it's pretty well accurate. So, I've cursed a specific set of drivers, and one of them hit with Russ on the first lap. So, currently 37 minutes out of a 45-minute race. There is one mandatory pit stop that these drivers have to take for fuel. It doesn't have to be for tires. Gav Cook is gonna get by Angelo. I think Angelo had an off track, so that allows Gav Cook to make it on by. Russ fancies his chances here, maybe. Russ does fancy his chances with an inside move. A brilliant inside move at that, and defends it well. Doesn't let Dunn get by. What a brilliant move there by Russ. However, Dan fancies a move himself, but it's not going to be able to get done. Dino wants to find himself now in that podium position. He's going to have to get by Barkins for it. Might be a bit of a task. You still got these two fighting it out. Down the inside goes Dunn. Swiping across the front. Or else Russ scaring Dunn maybe just a little bit enough to make him back off. Say, this spot's for me, son. Back off. You have Gav Cook slowly falling behind this pack of, I guess, this fight for the lead now, because it's not that far from P5, actually. And gap from the leader is only 3 seconds. Dino on the back of Barkins. Not able to find it just yet. No one looking for a spin just yet. There were spins earlier on. There aren't spins now. Everyone's seemingly calm, cool, and collected here. Not really a trek you'd see a lot of spins on. Zabra catching up to Mr. Hurl up here. Not that far off. Barkin's still in the hunt. Dino's still in the hunt. Juan Cruz still in the hunt. Gav Cook a little bit of ways away. Top 8 all within 10 seconds, so if you have a spin up front, you're probably losing a fair amount of places. Roth really wants Bozak right now. Wants to get by him because Bozak is holding up the pack. Tony's in his own little world. 4 seconds from the top. 3 seconds away from the back, so he is in his own little fantasy land. Sprock getting closer and closer. If these two battle, this might bring Barkins back in. Same thing with the rest of the drivers that are behind. Juan Cruz does fancy maybe getting into that top 4 position. Trying to feel, pardon the inappropriateness, but feel out Dino. See what he can maybe find. Follow his movements. Follow his every single thing. Bozak definitely starting to create a DRS train now. Even though these cars don't have DRS. Just getting a train following on him now. Dunn has fallen away from this, so it's just a 3-man fight now for 11th. Oh, someone had a little bit of a gravel trip. I heard that. It was Russ. Fancied himself a little bit of the gravel. Gav may have crashed, apparently. Neil didn't. No, Angelo and Neil did get past him. I'm going to see if we can find a replay of that. Oh, there's the little bit of a spin. Oh, that could have been a little bit dangerous for Neil as he was coming up the backside there. Oh. Zabrog thinking of a move. Hurl defends the inside. Zabrog's going to have to take the long way around. He's going to slow down, try and maybe do the switchback. Defended well by Hurl as he tries desperately to hold on to this P1 lead. Maybe back Zabrog up into the waiting arms of Barkins. However, Barkins stressing out just a little bit because he can't get up to this battle just yet. Roth still stuck behind Bozak. Russ still stuck behind this battle. Dunn slowly catching up to this battle as well. So you have multiple battles, it seems. You got Jonathan Neal slowly catching up to Angelo. The middle of the field, as you can see from the map, kind of just in their own land. You got this like 5-way fight for first place that could easily get crazy. Because Barkins is now closer to Zabrog than Zabrog is to Hurl. Gotta be careful, a lot of off tracks can happen there. Dino kind of just watching and waiting. Almost doesn't want to get too involved in this battle. I'll actually see what stuff looks like from his POV. So we're going to go into the cockpit of the number 4 Mercedes and see what he sees. A little bit of a fart, as I like to call it, from the Mercedes as it goes over that curb. Zabrog's going to fancy another chance to try and pass Hurl here. Ford versus BMW in a straight line. Faking out a move, trying to get Hurl to bite. He does not. Oh. The Teletubbies coming into full view there for Dino. Yes, folks, I indeed say Teletubbies. You are correct in that notion. That was not a stutter. Look at this. Look at this beautiful DRS train that Bozak now has formed. Just keeping everybody behind. You got Hubbard catching up to Mike Brown, however. Michael's not too far behind after his spin in the first half. Dunn and Spencer, they're making my timing sheets go crazy. Oh my! And that's Daniel Roth getting past Bozak. And multiple changes for position there as Russ is going to go maybe dive at the inside. Nope, elects to stay behind. So you had Roth get past Bozak. You had Dunn get past Russ. All within the period of a corner. Oh, Dunn's going to fancy his chances on a move on Bozak here. He's at least going to defend it from Russ. He's going to defend it from McMillian there and get by it done. Quite nice. Nothing's happening in the battle up front, as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen. The timing chart's still reading that nothing has changed there. So Brog gonna finally get the move he wants. Doesn't look likely. Looks like he'll have to wait. Dunn sniffing the rear end of that freaking Porsche Bozak. Just sniffing it. I wonder what it smells like. Considering he has a Buc-ee's car, I'm inclined to believe it's probably chicken. Roth desperately trying to get away from this battle, not wanting to tow the rest of the drivers. An aggressive move. Contact made. Or it certainly looks like contact was made, but no driver worse for wear of because of it. Hubbard still on the back of Code Mike Brown. Jansen driving a bit slowly. He may have crashed. We'll take a quick look on the replay and see what that has caused. I'm guessing he is spun. Yes, he did. Thankfully, he had a well of a ways a gap. He could afford a little bit of a spin. Dunn in a little bit of an unnerving position. He wants to try and catch Bozak, but he can't do so since he's got friggin' McMillian behind him causing all sorts of problems. I wonder if you start thinking about an undercut here. I genuinely wonder if you start thinking about an undercut here. Because no one's really gaining anything. No one's losing anything right now. An undercut does not sound like the worst idea in the world, but no one is going to take it with there still being 27 minutes left in this race. Zabrog and Hurl slowly distancing themselves away from the rest of the fights. Not able to find any luck, especially if you are Dunn, however. He's still got McMillian behind, not really being able to find anything. Hurl takes 2 off tracks. So does one Cruz. Where are they going off at? Oh, I think it's... Oh, I know where they're going off at. So far, all the gaps slowly starting to get withered out. Dino taking a good chunk out of that gap from Barkins. Neal taking a big chunk out of Angelo. Still got to show the replays from lap 1. These two have been battling pretty much the entire night. Russ is going to fancy his move up the inside. Take a chunk of the curb, however, he's still going to fight with Dunn. Side by side, they keep going. Ford versus Ford. Gulf versus whatever other livery Dunn's got going. Gulf versus Chucky's. Who's going to win out as they head to the chicane? Going side by side in the chicane is pretty crazy. Oh, Hurl and Bozak were fighting it out there for a minute. Breaking my screen there for a minute. Neal and Bozak glitching out just a hair a little bit. Oh, that's a spin for Angelo, who's got to get himself moving, or else Tony is going to find himself maybe catching an advantage. Did not. We're going to quickly see what happened there as we came to. Touches the curb and just loses a little bit of control. Zabrog's going to find himself now. Oh, nope, never mind. It said Hurl. It said Hurl got past. I've lied to you. Oh, maybe he did. Oh, they maybe exchanged places. That's why. Dunn has crashed. Maybe he just spun. Yeah, that'll do that. And Dunn has spun again. Losing more places now. He's now lost places to Mike Brown and Hubbard. Cote's now no longer in last. Russ has also gotten by Bozak. Bozak has had a spin as well. So far, 2 of my curses have hit. It's just Barkins left that needs to get cursed in order for me to be 3 for 3. Or he's doing his best to fight it off. Cote might fancy his chances of an inside dive here. Nope, he's not going to do that. So I'm going to figure out why Bozak drove slowly. I still got to show lap 1. Oh, he just went hecka deep. That's why. Alright, so this is what happened on lap 1. He just hit the grass and couldn't recover. That's what happened to Cote. That's why he's at the back. Russ kind of had contact with Tony and spun out. That caused Mike Brown and do believe that is Mr. Hubbard in the number 82 to kind of get lost in the sauce as well. So that's why they're at the back. Dunn's at the back because he's had 2 spins to start. Or not to start, to kind of just finish off. This is the closest battle right now. Zabrog and Barkins still, or Zabrog, not Barkins, and Hurl still fighting it out. Top 5 separated by about 5 seconds now. Might find yourself in a pit, might fancy yourself a pit stop window now, if I do say so myself, but I could be very much wrong in that instance. Been wrong before, could easily be wrong again. So we'll run through a quick order here, as obviously, as you can see, we have a fight for first between Hurl and Zabrog. Barkins finds himself on the last step of the podium, currently being chased by Dino. Juan Cruz also kind of in the fight as well. Neil a little bit ways back. Gav Cook a little ways from him. Angelo all the way back about 7 seconds. Tony still finding himself in no man's land. Salas Jansen also finding himself in a bit of no man's land. As you have some drivers coming into the pits, that would be Bozak. Jansen finds himself on the side of the top 10. Russ and Daniel Roth now start their fight for 11th and 12th respectively. Mike Brown finds himself 13th. Mr. Hubbard finds himself 14th, being chased by Cote and Dunn, and Bozak finds himself in the pits. He was in the box for 11.1 seconds, and that was a 30-second pit stop. So he is elected to be the first of multiple pit stops, or multiple people that have to stop. Mike Brown found himself spun out. We'll quickly take a look at the replay on that. Hit the curb too fast on the accelerator, nudges the wall, and loses 3 places because of it. Daniel Roth has found himself getting past Russ. Russ himself has maybe had found himself a little too hot under the collar. Let's see what happened there. Fancied himself a little bit of too much of a turn and then elects to drive onto the grass. Gav now on the back of Jonathan Neal. Not finding the room just yet. The foggy conditions making for less than ideal camera, but I swear every time I see Hubbard's car, it just looks like an epic Rap Battles of History car. Hubbard's going to come in along with Dunn. Russ has come into the pits as well. Mike Brown has elected to not, so he will gain a few places. $12.9. 11.3. 11.1. No, Mr. Dunn's going a lot longer. Gav gets past Neil. So we were staring in the pits. 22.2 for Dunn. A little bit of a longer time. Maybe he had damage to repair. We'll quickly take a look at the replay and see this nice overtake. Ooh! Very nice overtake there done by Mr. Gav Cook to get himself up into P6. Morgan on the back of Barkins might elect for an opportunity here. Barkins defends the inside, not going to let Dino have his moment. Still thinking an undercut in the top 5 would be a very smart idea here. Tony's going to find himself fancying a pit stop. Maybe to cover off the drivers that have come behind. Russ, Bozak, Cote, and Dunn. Salas finds himself off on the running. Same with Daniel. .7 for Tony. He's going to be close on exit with the Hubbard. Looks like Hubbard might take that position. Little bit of a front end pit stop there. By I mean front end pit, I mean Tony and Hubbard come together. Hubbard's going to take the advantage of that and find himself up into P11. Nothing too crazy yet. Mike Brown has stopped for another pit stop, or is that might be his first pit stop? As off he goes. Is Hurl or Barkins going to pit stop now? There's 15 minutes left. They're almost at the edge here. No one in the top 5 pits yet. That is an interesting call. Personally, I would not be up for it. Cote did get past Bozak at some point. We'll have to take a look at the replay to see when that happened. He was chasing him. Ooh, that's a bold place to do an overtake. It worked, though, however. Just can't necessarily complain if it works. Angelo goes in for his moment to box. He's got a little bit of a gap to do so. Silas Jansen will now also box. Hubbard will not, or Daniel Roth will not box yet. Hubbard will. As off goes Angelo. Tony, who's already made his pit stop, is going to look to try and fight. Russ maybe fighting. Maybe looking to fight Hubbard here, but I think he's got Hubbard covered. Yeah, he does. It's going to be Bozak. And they were going to fight Hubbard. Maybe Code Mike Brown might have something to say about it. Nope, he's too far away. Zabrog's not going to box. Hurl is. So is Dino and Barkin. Swan Cruz will also pit. Zabrog, the only driver out of the top 5 to not box this lap. This might prove interesting, folks. Gav Cook will also box. Jonathan Neal will also box as well. So Daniel Roth and Zabrog, the only drivers to not box yet. It's gonna be a pit stop battle. Off he goes. Juan Cruz actually gets past Dino in the pits. As Daniel Roth now finally pits. He will lose a position to Angelo. Probably the Tony. Maybe the Salas, depending on how far away he is in his pit. He'll be coming out probably with Russ and Michael. Let's see. He's out of the pits. Daniel Roth is comfortably ahead of Mr. Russ. Mr. Russ McMillian, as you can see from way up ahead. So Brog having now passed Dunn. Lap traffic. He will have to pit now, considering there's 11 minutes to go in this race. The fastest pit stop was 29.6. Zabrog is 25 seconds ahead. Was 25 seconds ahead. Based off of that knowledge, he might be between Barkins and Cruz, depending on how his pit stop goes. .7, off he goes. It's gonna be, and that is not going to be the case. Zabrog now in the leading position. Hurl now having to go full offense. The pit stop's making a world of a difference. As Dino now on the chase to get back at least into P4. Bozak on the chase to at least get into P13. So my curse didn't hit on Barkins, but I feel like my curse hit on Russ and on Bozak. But then again, Bozak hasn't lost any places, so does it really count? Is then the question. That's the question that needs answering. Does a curse count if they don't move, but they don't gain either? Does the curse still count? That's the question that needs asked. That is what I want answers to. One Cruz maybe with a little bit of a slip up there. Big gainers of today. There's a lot of ties for first, considering we have a lot of people with 2 gained places. Zabrog, Neal, McAnally, Jansen, and Roth. Mike Brown may have crashed, you don't say. Oh! Interesting. Juan Cruz giving Dino a fight for his money here. Doesn't want to give up that P4, however, that Mercedes is pretty good in the hands of Dino. They're going to go side by side now. Defending the inside line is Cruz. Dino now has the inside line. Cruz is going to have to go around the outside. It looks like Dino's got that all but signed, sealed, ready to deliver. Dunn now has a black flag, presumably for track limits. About 8 minutes left to go. So far, your closest battles is Cruz on Dino, Hurl on Zabrog, but he's still a ways away. And Bozak on Michael, but he's, again, a little bit of a ways away. So going now through the order post-pit stop, Zabrog takes the lead. Hurl finds himself in second. Barkham finds himself third. Dino spins right as the camera comes onto him. Oh no, disaster striking the Mercedes driver at the worst possible time. I do not believe his car is supposed to drive like that. He will have to get towed to the pits. And that is unfortunately disaster striking for Dino at the worst possible time. We'll go into TV mode 1. Actually, might go into TV mode 2. Yeah, he just loses control of the car. Rewind it from here. Almost fitted into the gap there between the stone wall. But yeah, just looking at the replay, it just looks unfortunate because he just tapes his tire in the gravel, unsettles the car, and nothing he can do there. Just a passenger, unfortunately. All other gaps now are over. The gap's pretty much to watch. The curse strikes their victims when they least expect it, and unfortunately for Dino, he was not a victim of my curse, but he gets it no matter what. 5 minutes left to go. Michael catching up to Russell pretty damn quick. Still got 4 minutes left to go. Yeah, first time it's done that all day. Hasn't happened yet, so I'll take that for that being the only glitch so far today. Is someone gonna get a late black flag and make their situation sad? Alright. As Brock crossing the line, he'll have this lap plus one more. Michael on the chase for Russ in P11. The top 10 kind of sealed in stone, unless someone decides to throw a black flag into the wrench. Angelo, Barkins. Preferably Barkins, because then my curse would absolutely have nailed its target. Spaceballs, the Mercedes. We break for nobody. Will you break for turn 1? If you break for turn 1, then your thing is a lie. Just my point, you know. See, you break for turn 1, so you do break for somebody. Just saying, you know, you break for somebody at this point. This is the final lap of the race. Don't flash me yet, Barkins. You're still not done yet. Still plenty of time to get that black flag. Zbrog. Zbrog almost seems to win every race I'm in. Or at least he podiums. Or us making a mistake that's allowed Michael to get closer. And they're going to have to finish out this next lap. The checkered flag will not save them. Might get a little close between Hubbard, Bozak, Russ, and Cote, but doesn't look like... Like I said, the top 10 probably won't change their positions unless a miracle occurs. Michael might fancy his chances with this being the last lap. I have to look for a move somewhere as Evan approaches the final set of turns. Is Mike Brown gonna let him pass? No, he is not. And that is the Borg winning at the Nürburgring. Tristan Hurl coming himself in second. Ryan Barkins will find himself third. Despite me wanting to curse him, he's found himself not cursed. Which depresses me so. Barkins finds his target, does not elect to run into them. Gav finds himself P5. Maybe Gav will find myself a target that he can just absolutely destroy. And that is a flipped car. I think that might be Barkins. Yeah, Barkins has flipped his car after a crash with Ron Cruz and finds himself fourth. That is a dead car as someone else decided to go flying in. Jonathan Neal finishes 6th. Angelo finishes 7th. Someone else keep crashing. I didn't get to see the crashes. Michael Cote might have crashed. That's unfortunate in his chase for Russ. Tony finds himself P8. He doesn't have a crash partner, though. Salas Jansen finds himself P9. Good top 10 finish. Is he going to find a crash partner? Nope. He is going to elect to just keep calm and carry on. And Yoroth finds himself 10th. Cote's just going to hold on here. Russ finds himself destroyed. Samuel Bozak hangs on 12th, 13th, and 14th respectively for Michael, Bozak, and Hubbard. Here goes Michael into the wall. And that was Hubbard finding himself into the wall quite nicely. And rounding out the race is going to be Mike Brown with Dino unfortunately DNFing from this race. So I gotta rewind and like catch all the collision because I didn't see any of it. What happened there? Oh my god, one cruise creates a disaster zone. Who cleared out Barkins? Oh my god. So that's who cleared out Barkins. I wondered who cleared out Barkins. It was Dunn. Poor Dunn destroyed bowling, literally. How many cars did he hit? He sent Barkins' car flying. Oh my god, that was beautiful. You missed Daniel Ross' car. How could you? It's a crime. That's illegal. The fact that you missed that. What the heck happened there? I think that was not Brown. That was fucking Hubbard. Hubbard just decided, you know what? Nah. Oh my! What a collision. All right. Thanks so much, folks, for joining. And as always, thank you to our Patreon Gold subscribers for making this all possible. And we will see you guys tomorrow for the next edition of iRacing.